More on this. Let's bring in Dan Hoffman, Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief. Dan, everybody knows you're not supposed to go to Russia right now. A U.S. soldier should know that. Why would he go?
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have been allegedly carrying on an adulterous relationship, it looks like, for a couple of years with his Russian girlfriend in South Korea. And she was deported back to Russia and was in Vladivostok, and I have no doubt, based on the information we know, that at the direction of Russian intelligence, she lured him to Russia. He never should have gone, and I'm sure the U.S. military is doing a deep dive right now to determine what went wrong. Did he ever report this foreign national contact with a criteria country like Russia? Why did he not pay attention to the State Department travel advisory, which forbids travel to Russia? Lots of unanswered questions here, but as John correctly stated, we've got another hostage, and even though this is his fault and a grave error in judgment on his part, we can't leave him behind, and now we're going to have to try to get him out. And we know that Vladimir Putin extorts us and drives a hard bargain.
Yeah, we saw that play out with Brittany Griner, and, we returned the merchant of death, notorious arms dealer Victor Bout, to get her back. But, what's the end goal when Russia already has Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan? More concessions?
Yeah, well, Vladimir Putin has a list of his own citizens he would like returned. One of them committed murder in Germany against a Chechen. He'd like to get him back, and the Germans thus far are refusing. And he might think, Vladimir Putin might think, that this might tip the balance, that the United States might put enough pressure on Germany so that Putin can get his way. It's nasty, asymmetric warfare. And I'm extremely disappointed, and I think all Americans should be, that our military in South Korea didn't do a good enough job of tracking their own personnel or warning them of these potential dangers. Russia's a major threat, and this is a tried and true modus operandi, as Jennifer Griffin noted. It's a honey trap. It's a lastechka, as they say in Russian. I'm quite sure that she was reporting to Russian intelligence on her relationship with Staff Sergeant Black while they were in South Korea.
Well, let's play for you, though, what Sergeant Black's mom said was going on in the lead up to this, because it sounds like there were people other than this soldier who knew about this woman and what she was doing in Russia and trying to lure him there. And should some of them have stepped in? Let's listen to this.
She was trying to ask us for money. It was over Facebook. She wanted me to set up another account and send money.
How much money was she looking for?
600.
So an adulterous relationship, but apparently one that other people around this soldier knew about, enough to have contact with the family. How do you get the message out effectively if what we've seen happen with Evan and with Brittany Griner isn't penetrating through?
Yeah, look, Evan did absolutely nothing to cause his arrest. That was Vladimir Putin's dictatorship war machine seeking to extort us by arresting him wrongly. He's a journalist. They never should have been arrested. Brittany Griner allegedly brought minute amounts of she was vaping, I guess, hash or marijuana with her. Again, a relatively small offense. And Vladimir Putin got the merchant of death back from United States incarceration. In this case, Alexandra Vashchuk was posting videos on TikTok reportedly for a couple of years. She wasn't hiding this relationship. That's what makes it even more egregious. That no one stepped in and said, hey, Staff Sergeant Black, maybe this isn't the best idea. We need to get you some help. We need to send you back to the United States and not allow you to be overseas anymore. All of this should have been cause to send him home, rather than allow him out as he was to make this grave error in judgment that's going to cost him, his family, as well as the United States of America.
So noting that, you referred to this as a honey trap or a honeypot, understanding, I guess, from that it's acceptable within the rules of spy fare to set this kind of a trap. So does the U.S. military need to communicate, especially to soldiers, that they have a particularly strong duty not to go to a place like Russia when you have, the State Department advisory has been out forever, it seems. But a soldier especially might get a different response from the U.S. government than a citizen.
I can tell you that when I served at CIA, I worked really closely with the U.S. military, the State Department, and other agencies to provide really good counterintelligence briefings on the threat that we faced from Russian intelligence. And yes, the use of honey traps, it's been going on forever since the Cold War. Look up the Clayton Lone Tree case from the 1980s where the Russians used a honey trap operation against him at the embassy in Moscow to gain access to our embassy. He initially had a relationship with a young woman, and then she introduced him to Uncle Sasha, who happened to work in the KGB. So that's just the way they work. It's kind of disgusting that they would use their female officers that way, but that's what they do. And we've got to do a better job of warning our people about these risks. Otherwise, we'll pay the price.
All right. Dan Hoffman, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.